Let's make some noise. Come on.
Well, right, indeed, Nick Foles. Thank you very much for that rousing introduction. Excuse me. Welcome back, everybody, to the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy MattyB on the call as we start at another broadcast week here on the program. And boy, whenever you start these things on a Sunday during the football season, it's sort of it writes itself. So obviously tonight's conversation and tonight's topics are going to be not strictly, but heavily tipped towards the Philadelphia Eagles as they escaped with yet another victory today, 31-25 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in sweltering Central Florida. The Phillies wrapped up their season today, 162 games in the books. Now we look forward towards the playoffs. Penn State, man, comes up short yet again against another top 10 team. And everything else that's circulating around the Philadelphia sports world since the last time we spoke will be on the table today. I welcome all conversations. So, again, I'm thankful to be back for another week. It's going to be an interesting week here on the network as we sit and wait. The big waiting game, part of the downfall of having a first-round bye in the playoffs. Now you have to wait for everything else sort of to work itself out before we can jump right back into Phillies baseball. And, yeah, that's going to be part of the conversation tonight, too, is the fact that we have hit this point. The baseball season's over. Sucks. Absolutely sucks. The regular season. Your day in Philadelphia sports history, your card review, all the great things that we do are on table tonight. So let's get it all going. But before we do, let me remind everybody that here is the week in a glance here on the network. As I said, today was one of our busy days. You started your day off watching some Steel City Pittsburgh Steelers pregame stuff, and you ended your day off with me. And in between, we romped through the PM and the AM, the Steel City postgame, Eagles and Buccaneers postgame, the Vikings final, and now here I am with me. So a long, busy day on the network, and we're about to flip that calendar to October, and it's going to get even more busier as we're just about, 11 days away from the Flyers returning to action. So no rest for the weary on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And we're also coming up on our 1-year birthday here on the network, October 7th. We will celebrate 1 year of existence. So a great next couple of weeks here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And we're glad to be here for you guys. Ricky Deal chiming in, says Ricky, Matt as well. Hi, Matt. Ricky's watching. Ricky, how are you tonight? Good to see you. Hope all is well with you on this Sunday night. And let's, I guess, without further ado, let's get into some of the things that we're going to talk about. But we always start off with our day in Philadelphia sports history. So let's strap in, strap on, strap up, and let's begin. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times, and let's go. Your day in Philadelphia sports history, September 29th. I thought about doing a couple different things tonight with it. There was 2 nuggets of information that I wanted to go with. I'm going to go with the latter. On this day in 2002, in a 35-17 win over the Houston Texans, Eagles Pro Bowl safety Brian Dawkins became the first player in NFL history to record a sack, an interception, a forced fumble, and a touchdown, all in the same game. One of the most popular and talented Eagles of all times, Dawkins was a 6-time All-Pro, obviously number retired by the team, and an inductee into the Football Hall of Fame out in Canton, Ohio. Definitely, truly, maybe the last great, and when I say great, I mean all-time Eagle, Brian Dawkins. Now, there's a couple candidates here warming up, but definitely in the last era of Eagles football, the first era, honestly, of the resurgence of the Philadelphia Eagles. Brian Dawkins was definitely the face of that franchise and the face of excellence on the defensive side of the football, and all the accolades that he has received post-career are much and well-deserved. So, that is your night in Philadelphia sports history. Brian Dawkins, completes the trifecta of the fumble recovery, touchdown, interception, and a sack, all in the same game. Ricky wants to know, are the phone lines open tonight? We'll see, Ricky. We'll see how the conversation goes. Let's kind of play it by ear. But let's get the conversation started. And should we go with the Phillies? Should we go with the Eagles? Let's flip a coin up in the air imaginarily, and let's go with the topic. Let's go with the Philadelphia Eagles. That was a quick coin toss. Eagles with a 31-25 win today against Tampa in much of the same fashion that it's been throughout the first 3 weeks of the season. A game in which the offense seemed poised to break out at some moments of the game, but for the majority of the time, the offense seems to be stuck in a different type of gear for whatever reason. The Kevin Padula hate is starting to really kind of take off into a next level. The offense seems to lack creativity, to lack execution, to lack a lot of things, explosive plays, you name it. And the Eagles continue to feast and to live on the edge from the play of their defense. And yeah, now we're going to add the special teams, because the Eagles, once again, with an amazing special teams play early in this game, block, punt, return for a touchdown to get the things rolling against Tampa today down there in very hot, sweaty Tampa, Florida. And the Eagles were able to hold on after building up a 18-point lead. The Buccaneers then stormed right on back, got within a few points, 8 to be exact, but just couldn't seem to get over that hump. Aided again by the play of the defense, who did not necessarily have themselves a great game, but they had a game where they came up with some big plays in a timely manner. And the big question on the plate, I guess, for a lot of people, including myself, is sustainability of this type of play. I am not going to sit here and tell you that all is right, and I'm definitely not going to sit here and tell you that a win is a win is a win. That might be one of the more infuriating statements that I want to hear when it pertains to the football team. Saying it's a win's a win, doesn't really matter how it gets done as long as it gets done, is something that's viable, because they all can't be pretty and they all can't be perfect and they all can't be games where you go into it and you execute everything at the number one spot that you want to execute. But we're talking 4 weeks in a row now. We've gotten the carbon copy of this football team. Offense that sputters, defense that rises up, they get a late turnover and they seal the deal. Happened today. The Baker Mayfield ill-advised pass down by the end zone got picked off at the goal line, essentially sealing the game for the Eagles. It happened in the week 1 game against the Cowboys with the Miles Sanders fumble. In the week 2 game, what was it, against Kansas City with the Travis Kelce drop pass that tipped into the hands of Makuba. Last week, I guess, if you want to look at it, maybe that was the game where the defense didn't necessarily have to come up with the turnover late, but still they did come up with the turnover. And this week, again, you snatch victory, or you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in a game that 18-point lead, it got really hairy. So 4-0 is 4-0. And yes, I will give you that. 4-0 is 4-0, but we are week 4 now. And the defense played a lot of football today. And there was a lot of time for them to be on that field. And you could see it. They were gassed. And partly the reason why the Buccaneers couldn't seal the deal, Baker Mayfield's just not that good of a quarterback. I mean, he really isn't. He made some really good plays today, but there was more times than not that his offense sputtered just badly as the Eagles' offense did. And at the end of the day, the Eagles made the play where they needed to at the very end to seal it. But as we sit here literally officially a quarter of the way through the season, sitting at a very, very respectable 4-0, I have to ask the question, we got 3 quarters of this season left. Can the Eagles continue to win football games like this? And for those of you that say, yes, I give me the data that backs that up. This team is already starting to deal with some injuries. Defense is playing a lot of football. The offense can't seem to get anything going sustainably. They can't get any consistent drives. They're up and they're down. The defense is on the field a lot. It's going to take its toll at some point this season. Can the Eagles continue to win games living on the edge? Next week, the Denver Broncos. That doesn't get any easier. Are the Denver Broncos a formidable team? Probably not. But are the Denver Broncos also a team that understand that they are in a position to shock the world next week? To formally announce their arrival to relevancy in the NFL by going into Philadelphia and beating the Eagles. Do you think the Broncos are going to do everything in their power to be prepared as much as they possibly can be against the Philadelphia Eagles next week? I would say they are. This could be a trap game. And can the Eagles continue this offensive output, this offensive I don't know what to call it, because again, I want to discuss the Kevin Padula effect. I do want to discuss that, but I want to have an honest conversation about that. And has the play calling been great? No. But has it been terrible? No. It hasn't been terrible. It's been the execution more than, in my opinion, than the play calling. It's been the lack of execution on the offensive side of the football. Saquon Barkley. We talked about this heading into the season. If Saquon could not get going or return quickly to the form that he held in 2024, what was the offense's default back from that? Because, again, we have short memories here. Prior to unleashing Saquon onto the NFL in 2024, this offense that we're seeing right now was the same offense that was through the first 4 weeks of 2024 and also through the entire 2023 season. Saquon is the one difference from that offense. And now we're without Saquon again. Can this team win sustainably with this offense? And at what point do you stop looking at the coach and start looking at your players? Jalen Hurts today, all right? Jalen Hurts, this is his line today. 15 of 24 for 130 yards, 5.4 yards on average, 2 touchdowns, sacked twice for 18 yards. He rushed the ball 9 times for 62 yards and 6.9. Are those the numbers of an elite quarterback? And spare me, the rallying to Jalen Hurts' defense. I want to know: is that what you're expecting an elite quarterback to do? Jalen Hurts needs to do more. If Saquon does not get going, or if he cannot get going, Jalen Hurts needs to do more. But can he? And will the Eagles allow him to do more? So another cardiac kid event today down in Tampa where the Eagles barely hung on after building an immense lead. But we're also going to default back and blame the offensive coordinator. And I think it's misplaced blame. I truly do. I think he shares some responsibility, but to completely pivot away from the players and to completely exonerate the players for their play and not talk about the execution phase of play calling is wrong. And I'm really interested to hear you guys' opinion on that. Joe Hale says, "Hey everyone, what's going on? What's the next for the Eagles kickoff?" Yeah, that's what's next. I mean, Joe, they're finding new ways to kind of get it done. They got, we got the block field goal, we got the block punt. Next would be either a kickoff or punt return for a touchdown. And then whatever they do first, they got to do the other one. And what happens when they run out of those? I mean, we still got 13 games left? What happens when they run out of those things? Denver is not going to win. Can I tell you why? Listen, I'm not sitting here telling you that Denver is going to win. And if you're asking me to lay down a pick on it right now, I'm going with the Eagles. I got you. But Denver can see this game for what it means for them this season. Denver can see this game as an opportunity to show the NFL that they're back, that they're for real, that Bo Nix is for real, that whatever they're doing out there is real. And to go into Philadelphia and knock off the defending champs would be a hell of a way to make that announcement. Now are they going to go do it? Probably not, because I don't think Denver is as good as the Eagles. But they're going to prepare like it's Super Bowl 60. Are the Eagles going to prepare that way? Are the Eagles going to go into this game with the same attitude, with the same way they're going about their business against these teams? And are they going to rely and hope to God that they can get lucky on a special teams play? 14 points off of turnovers today for the Eagles. And of course, I'm counting the block punt as points, but which is not technically a turnover, but it really should be. But can the Eagles really afford to play like this? And how much longer are you going to get it? And I am going to go back to 2023 because 2023 is the origin story here, right? This is where it began. This is where this type of play and offense began. It got better in 2024 because of Saquon Barkley. Nobody wants to admit. I have not heard one person come out and clearly say, yes, this offense is the same offense from 2023, same offense of 2024, and minus Saquon Barkley. And it doesn't take a professor at Harvard or Yale to figure this out. You just kind of walk it back, do the deductive reasoning, and find out that the only thing that has changed about the Eagle offense from 2023 to today has been Saquon Barkley and three different coordinators. But everything else is still here. That's one of the selling points that the homers go to. Oh, but we the entire offense returned from 2024. Yeah, they did. But one player has returned in a different way, and not in a good way. And it doesn't go, I don't have to go far back to come up with why the Eagles are struggling offensively, because they're not getting the play from Saquon Barkley. They're getting game manager to above average play from their quarterback, which is what you want, because that's what he is. But that's not good enough without a secondary hit. And we saw them winning games like this in 2023. Me and Kyle went back and forth about this on the Birds Blast. He up and down violently says this is not the same type of team from 2023. And I said, you're right. The defense is different, but it's the same offense. And it's going to lead to the same result if the offense can't find a way to stabilize themselves and to be more consistent. Because the defense, you saw it today. They were running on empty by the midpoint of that fourth quarter. And the fact that Tampa couldn't shove that stake through their heart tells me more about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than it does about the Eagles. Because the Eagles had that game should have been choked away. Tampa missed an opportunity today to hand the Eagles a loss. They should have beat them. But the Eagles held on. Literally. 7 holding penalties never called on the Eagles that were so damn flagrant. I mean, like jersey holding, like pulling jerseys off people's backs. Quinyon Mitchell, man. Is that why he's so good? Because he never gets called for holding penalties? Because he was holding like a mofo today. A mofo. And never got called. The Eagles hung on for dear life. And I don't know if confidence is a word you guys can come out of this game feeling about this team. There's a part of the schedule the Eagles are hitting. I guess it's Denver, the Giants, Minnesota, and the Giants. I think this is the next opponents for the Eagles. It's a pretty light October. They should be able to roll October and go into that bye week 8-0 or something like that. But how are you feeling about this team? And is this sustainable? Can they go out week after week and play like this and expect to win? We saw what happened in 2023, and I believe the shelf life was 12 weeks? And then after that, it didn't work. Are the Eagles headed for that same type of path? Because I don't see the offense any different than I saw them in 2023. Denver plays late Monday night, and their travel day is Thursday. As the phone lines open, we'll see. Is October schedule coming out? October schedule for what? For the Titans final? Well, for what, Ricky? I got like 10 different schedules I run. But the Titans final schedule will be out probably Thursday, Friday. I will not be on. If you're asking me about the Titans final, I will not be on game 1 or game 2. I got to leave town on Wednesday, and I'll be gone until probably next Wednesday, I think, or next Tuesday. So I'm going to be off the air for a few days, actually. You won't be seeing me at all. But if that's what you're talking about, the Titans final schedule will come out later in the week once I find out who they're playing. Which we'll start finding that out on Tuesday. So a little stat-packed information from today's game. The Eagles scored 24 first-half points. This is the same thing I do for the Birds Blast. I'm going to give you guys a little treat tonight. 24 first-half points for the Eagles. 7 points in the second half. 7. Now, they were a crucial 7 points because that was pretty much the difference in the game. 8 penalties today for the Eagles for 83 yards. 28 penalties now on the season for an average of 7 penalties a game. 191 yards in penalty yards assessed to the Eagles this year for an average of about 48 yards a game. That's got to change. Where they're hitting on all cylinders, of course, is the turnovers force. 2 more today, 5 on the season now for about 1.25 a game, and they held on to the football themselves. I don't know how many times, if you go back into the recent past of this football team, back to last season, I don't know how many games I could sit here and tell you that they were won or lost because the other team could not hold on to the football. If you look at the playoffs last year, I mean, the majority of those games were turned on the turnover from the Eagles. The Rams game was completely won on the turnovers late in that game where the Rams were driving. The Stafford interception and then the Eckler fumble. Then the Commanders game, I think they gave it up 5 times. The Chiefs turned it over 3 times in the Super Bowl. I don't know when the other teams are going to get the memo to stop turning the football over against the Eagles. So then I already cited the turnovers from this season so far and how they've really pivoted the games. The Miles Sanders fumble late in week 1 was really the icebreaker or the ice awayer of the Cowboy game. The Jason Kelsey, Pat Mahomes miscommunication interception. That was the one that sealed that game. Today, of course, was the Baker Mayfield down on the goal line trying to force something that wasn't there. And you could even factor in the Bucky Irvin fumble as well earlier in that game where the Buccaneers had all the momentum and they just shot themselves in the foot. You cannot turn the football over against the Eagles. You just can't. And I don't know when teams are going to – as soon as a team figures out that they shouldn't turn the football over, the Eagles are going to lose. They're going to lose a game. The first loss the Eagles will suffer this year, the team that does it will not turn the ball over the entire game. And they also won't do some stupid special teams play that creates points for the Eagles. So the Eagles are finding ways to win. And there must be some credit to be given there. And there's always a sense of that throughout a football season. There's always games that you go into and you come out of like, damn, I mean, we have no business winning that thing, but it's great that we were able to find a way to win. I'm not saying that you're supposed to play 17 games, 16 games, however many we're doing these days, perfectly, and that everything follows a script. I'm not saying that. But when you're going out week after week after week and you're winning in these hokey ways where you don't have any business of winning, but you're finding ways to win, that's luck. That's luck. And that's not going to be there. The Eagles are 4-0, but in the same breath, they could be 0-4. That's how these games have played out. There hasn't been any dominance asserted by the Eagles over their opponents. There hasn't been any games that you've come out of thinking, damn, that's what a Super Bowl champion does. They go in there and they punch the Cowboys in the mouth. They go in there and they punch. There hasn't been any of that. There's always been these. We come out of these games with the same rhetoric. Wow, a win is a win is a win. I cannot stand that phrase. I couldn't stand it in 2023, and I sure as hell don't like it in 2025. 4-0 is a great start. Quarter of the season's down. They got a little bit of a break in October. They could build upon that, maybe try to work out some of these execution problems from the offense, maybe get Saquon Barkley going in the right direction and open up the offense a little bit more. And maybe we can work this out, but they are not going to be able to win consistently week to week like this. This is not sustainable. Again, 2023 lights the way when it comes to that. And on this network, and God love them to death. But feels good to be a Phillies fan today. Mets are gone, Jose. I agree. And we'll get to the Phillies here in a second. MattyB, thank you for everything you do in the sports network. What is somebody coming after me there, Joe? Are you giving me my thanks as I'm gonna get executed or something? You got to look at this thing. They got me all off what was my train of thought? What was I about to say? Oh yeah, the network today, big time day. Sundays are big on the network, and we got some great people that really love what they do, and I love it, and I love that they do it. And I'm never going to censor anybody, and I'm of course never going to tell anybody what to think or what to say. This is America, God damn it. I spent 30 years of my life defending the Constitution. I sure as hell ain't going to turn my back on it to benefit me. So there's a platform for every opinion here and what have you. But I heard a bunch of propaganda being spewed earlier today on the PNM and the AM, and then it got really bad on the Eagles postgame. If you did not see the birds fly by today, I suggest you go in, because I had to go on and actually defend the honor of Eagles fans because of the propaganda that was being spewed by one Pat Bernard, not Mike Laro. I'm going to give Mike a pass on this. Mike was given a little bit more of a middle of the road approach, but Pat was given a lot of this analysis that says a win's a win's a win, and that was it. Like, that's enough. That there's no further breakdown involved. That there's no further analysis involved. That you should accept these as wins, not look at any of the criticalness of these wins, or not look at any of the obvious internal structural flaws. You should just ignore that and just say a win's a win is a win. And I won't tolerate that kind of stuff on the network. I'm not censoring anybody, but if you're going to come with a take, then come right with the take. Don't give me this this fluffy ass, a win is a win is a win. You don't do that because you're giving the viewers, you guys, a disservice. Take a side and die on that hill, or flip flop off the hill. Do whatever you want to do. But I had to go on to the post game show and just sort of kind of set Pat Bernard right a little bit, because he can have his own take, but you're going to have to give more than the obligatory a win is a win is a win. Matter of fact, a new proclamation here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. I, MattyB, the founder, founder, creator, and Lord of the It's a Wrap Sports Network, hereby make the following decree. There will no longer be allowed the use of the phrase "a win is a win is a win." That is forbidden here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. You are not allowed to say that. If you do say it, then you must back that up with in-depth analysis. Because the people deserve it. The people want to know why you think that. And you must provide them that. I don't care what it is, but you got to provide something. So 4-0. Oh, and another stat here. The Eagles did score two more first quarter touchdowns so far today. That's 5 on the season. And that is completely off script from last year. They're getting off these amazing first quarter starts. They scored another touchdown on their opening drive. That's so far 3 on the season. If you remember from way back last season, they scored 2 opening drive touchdowns all season. And now they got 3 within the first 4 weeks. So that's a positive, absolutely a positive in the right direction. It just doesn't seem to be able to kind of continue on. 24 first half points the Eagles scored this week. With the exception of the Rams game last week, the Eagles have been off script with this too. Last year, we couldn't score points in the first half, and we had to go off for crazy points in the second half. This year is quite the opposite. We're putting up boatloads of points in the first half, but yet we're failing to score in the second half. Only 7 points today. The Eagles have scored 62 first half points for an average of about 15.5 first half points. In the second half, they've scored 46 points for about 11.5 points per half. If you're going out and you're going to try to go and defend your Super Bowl championship and start a dynasty, and you're averaging 11.5 points in the second halves of football games, your title defense is not going to last long, and your dynasty reign will never be born. Something's got to give. And what is that? What is the thing that has to give? The big popular answer is to string up alive by his toenails the offensive coordinator, Kevin Padula, for his conservative play calling. Well, you might be right, but I'm going to counter that with this. I said this on the Birds Blast. Kyle agreed with me. I want to see how you guys think. Do you think Padula was on the sidelines making plays or calling plays and then just on his own and saying, that's it, that's the play we're going with, there's no other conversation about it, send it in? Do you think there's a communication process on the sidelines that goes around from a couple different coaches? Little, opinions are given. The head coach, I would hope, has the majority veto power and makes the final decision. And then the play is sent in. I mean, what do you think is the play calling process? How do you think a play goes from the sidelines in somebody's mind to the field and being executed? Do you think it's Kevin Padula out there saying, I don't care who you are, shut up, I'm calling plays, and I'm not listening to anybody else? Or do you think there's a safety inspection process or a check process goes around through that intercommunicational system headset? Hey, I'm going to run code X3 on 2. What do you think? No, I don't. The defense doesn't look. They're giving that. No, we're not getting. I mean, what do you think that process is like? Because if you listen to Eagles fans, uninformed Eagles fans, they think it's Kevin Padula standing on the sidelines, basically autonomously running the offense by himself, and that's a complete falsehood. There's a Q&A process that involves these plays. Now, is it a long discussion? And does Kevin Padula have the outright overall say he is the offensive coordinator? Probably. But don't forget, the game plan is drawn up. The plays are worked on practice. It's not like he's pulling things out of the air mid-game and telling the team to run them. These are plays in their playbook that they use. So I am not going to sit back and string up the offensive coordinator and blame him for the Eagles' offensive problems solely. I'm not going to do that because, again, that's an uninformed homer who does not want to admit that there's a problem with some of the personnel on offense. That maybe the Jalen Hurtses of the world are not as elite as you think. Or maybe the Eagles' offensive line is not as electric as you think. There's enough blame to be given out equally here. Yet it's not. Yet I don't hear any blame ever assessed to the players. I hear a lot of it going towards the coaches and the coordinators, but none to the players. Why? They are the constant that has endured throughout all these years, throughout all these different coordinators, throughout the Saquon Barkley miracle season. The other offensive players are the only other constant that have been here. So if they're the constant and everything else keeps changing around them, and then the offense is still failing, again, this is simple math here. So perhaps it's the offensive personnel that is the true problem. Now, what do I mean by that? Again, going back to the communication process about sending plays in. Why don't the Eagles throw the football down the field? Why? What is the reasoning? What is the theory here? You got two of the best wide receivers allegedly in the NFL that play for you. You got a tight end who's quite dominant when he's healthy. And you got an offensive line that for the most part can hold its own in pass protection. Why does Jalen Hurts not go down the field but one or two times a game? Why? Is it because the play calls don't allow him to? Is it because the offensive coordinator and the head coach don't allow him to? Is it because there's perhaps maybe a sense of we don't want to put him in harm's way because he does have a tendency to turn the football over when he puts the ball in the air? What's the reason? It could be a combination of all those things. Yeah. But I sure as hell don't remember ever talking about an elite quarterback and then saying at the next breath, they don't allow him to throw the football down the field. Because these numbers for him today are not elite numbers. And I don't know if the biggest homer on the planet can spin these numbers into an elite performance. 15 for 24 with 130 yards and 5.4 yards a throw, 2 touchdowns, sacked twice for a QBR, for a quarterback rating of a 54. That's elite. That's top 3 in the NFL. I don't know, man. I don't think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's me. So the Eagles find their way through and battle their butts off, and they did battle, to a 31-25 victory, moving their season now to 4-0. Next up is the Denver Broncos and our first crack at Bo Nix. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know anything about Bo Nix. I don't know a damn thing about Bo Nix or the Denver Broncos. We're just going to have to wait and, I guess, do our homework together over the course of the next 5 days. But anyway, chime in with what you might have on the Eagles. I am going to open the phone line, so here they go. Where is it? Where is it? I don't want that. Why can't I? What the hell? Why is it doing this? There it goes. No, I didn't. Did it work? I don't think it worked. Let's try this. There you go. There you go. There it is. I just sent it. So the phone lines are open. If you guys want to chime in, you know the drill. just come on in, hop backstage. You got to have a way to talk to me, and we'll talk. Don't worry. Those first three, don't disregard those. Those are not nothing. I don't know what the hell happened there. Let me get rid of those. So the phone lines are open. We can talk some Eagles. We're also going to get into the Phillies here in a second because we're done. Regular season has ended, and now it's time to get ready for the playoffs. And I do want to sort of wet my whistle here with the Phillies. I don't want to start talking all night about it because we'll be here till 3 a.m. But I do want to wet my whistle when it comes to the Phillies. But the Eagles find their way to victory tonight, 33-25, 31-25, 4-0 now on the season. But how are you feeling, man? How do you feel collectively about this, the shape of this team? How do you feel about the performance of this team? Who are you placing the blame for the slow offensive start? And how, most importantly, how do you fix it? How do the Eagles get out of this neutral gear of an offense? Or are we on our way to repeating history? Does 2023 have a chance to rear its ugly head in 2025? Because, yeah, we're riding high, and rightfully so. They've gotten through the hardest part of the schedule, or not schedule, but they've gotten kind of through the hardest part of the season, the September part, 4-0. They've beaten some good teams along the way. They've beaten playoff teams. They've beaten a Super Bowl contender along the way. They have a portion of their schedule now that somewhat lightens up. Giants twice and the Vikings, I believe, and the Broncos. That's what October will look like. I mean, 8-0 to the bye, definitely possible. 4-4 is possible as well. I don't know if that's going to happen. But how do you guys feel overall about the health of this football team? And I mean that physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, all of that. And please chime in. Let's bring Joe Hale on. Joe, what's going on, man?
Hey, how are you? You talked about Jalen Hurts is not an elite quarterback, first and foremost.
Okay. Why is he not, Joe?
He struggles
with
passing down the field.
Is that why the Eagles don't throw the ball down the field?
Yes. And another reason, I don't think it's just Patullo calling plays. I think it's the whole coaching staff calling plays.
No, I agree. I think that I don't think people are really thinking when they say and they blame in the offensive coordinator. I don't honestly think and I'm not going to pretend to know that I know, but it's not Kevin Patullo standing on the sidelines by himself in a glass bubble, not taking any criticism or feedback or direction from anybody else and just calling plays. There's got to be a check in place going back and forth. They're talking about this stuff. It's zipping around the sidelines all game long. And ultimately, it's the head coach who makes the decision about anything that goes on that field.
I want to put...
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I want to put blame on Jalen Hurts for the play calling, too.
In what way?
That he doesn't audible a lot, if you notice.
Oh, I noticed. He does very, very rarely audibles. And there's no... What has happened to the motion offense? Why don't we use motion at all here?
I don't know. It scares me.
There's nothing. It's so everyone just stays where they're at and they go. There's nobody trying to, very rarely will they run motion back and forth on the line. I don't know why they don't do that. Maybe the receivers can't get off the line better. Maybe if they ran motion, there'd be better opportunities for AJ Brown to get a better break, or Devontae Smith, who, by the way, Devontae Smith through 4 games has been criminally underused by this offense. It's actually getting to become a problem. And it brings me up to my next point, Joe, and I don't want to sidetrack you from your point, but I do want to throw this out at you. At what point in the season, as this offense continues to sputter, do the personalities of some of these bigger names like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, do they start to become a little bit fractured and become a little bit more of a distraction because AJ's not getting his, Devontae's not getting his? At what point, because we saw it happen in 23, we saw it all collapse in 23 in a sort of the same way, but how much longer before that begins to creep in?
It's just like what AJ Brown tweeted today. I don't know if you saw that tweet.
No.
He was getting annoyed. It was a Tampa beat writer wouldn't leave him alone, and he flipped out on a tweet, but then he deleted it.
So, okay, I guess it's happening now. But it's a viable question because we've seen how these personalities, and I'm not knocking them for it. They want
I
the
would be
ball,
pissed
they want
if
to
I was-
catch touchdowns, they want to do what they got to do, but they don't get the ball. At what point do their personalities begin to get in the way and we get the drama in the locker room like we had again? I'm going to go back to 2023 because this has got 2023 written all over it. This season's got 2023 redux written all over it.
You're absolutely right.
And I don't know what the answer to fix this is. And I think the easy answer is Saquon Barkley needs to recapture his form.
No.
If Saquon Barkley can get back to running the way he was in 24, now it's an if, then the offense will probably find another gear. But if they don't, what's the option here? What do they pivot to?
They're going to go out and make a trade.
For a wide receiver, running back, what?
I would go out and see who's out there on the wide receiver. I don't want Quinn Watkins being activated.
Another wide receiver to throw into already crowded wide receiver room with personalities and people who want the football.
You would have to give up something. Maybe like a Dotson.
Listen, it might happen. I don't know what you're going to get for a Dotson. Maybe a Dotson and a first-round pick. I don't know, Joe Hale. I don't know, man. But 4-0, you can't shake a stick at it. 4-0 is a good start. 4-0 is 4-0.
Can we talk Philly?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely. What's your thought on the Phillies as we have completed yet another their 143rd regular season in Phillies history has come to an end?
Prediction.
You have a World Series prediction?
No, bold prediction. Reds beat the Dodgers.
And we play the Reds.
Yes. And if that's the case, we go to NLCS.
Now, the Reds got a pretty stout young pitching rotation. That did have its way with the Phillies at times, especially that second series in Cincinnati. They really put up a fight. But if you're asking me who I'd rather see, Reds or Dodgers, of course I'm going to go with the Reds because I don't want the defending champs. I don't want to deal with Ohtani. I don't want to deal with Freeman. I don't want to deal with Betts, Muncy. I don't want to deal with any of them. So yeah.
And I think it's going to be the Phillies and Padres.
In the NLCS?
And the Phillies win. Padres scare me. But
Padres got a lot of pitching. Their offense is not that good, but their pitching is very good.
And I noticed, I went to the Flyers preseason yesterday.
What was it? Did they win that game? I didn't know. Who they play?
From the Ducks they acquired. Had
Zebras?
Huh?
Trevor Zebras?
Yes. He had a nice assist from Mitchkov.
We are about 13 days away or so from the start of that season. We'll definitely get into some more Flyers talk as we get closer.
And I'm noticing the trend already.
Gold
Duck. Erson is horrible.
Yeah, he's going to be your starter.
Is he?
Yeah. Who else? I mean, who are we going to go with?
Go with Carter Hart.
Carter Hart's already been. So Carter Hart cannot return until December 1st anyway, at a minimum, with anybody. The NHL won't let those players back until December 1st. And the Flyers have already said openly that they're not interested in Carter Hart.
I got you. I could see Carter Hart going to Edmonton.
Someone's going to sign him. Maybe not right off. Maybe Carter Hart spends the year. I don't know. Someone's going to take a chance. Someone that was far away from this whole thing that had nothing to do with it. Maybe a smaller market, perhaps like a Utah or as you mentioned, in Edmonton. Edmonton's always been that one goalie away from a cup. That's all that Edmonton's missing.
Are they doing captains?
Who, the Flyers?
Yes.
It should be Couturier. I know they added Dvorak was wearing the A couple nights ago. Christian Dvorak, the newly acquired centerman from the Flyers signed. Yeah, he was wearing the A vacated by Scott Laughton. So I would imagine it's going to be Couturier, Couturier, Dvorak, and Konechny.
No, because yesterday Minchkov was wearing a C.
He was wearing a C?
Yep.
Well, that must have been for the game. I definitely he's not the new captain.
Played.
Yeah, but that's not it. That's got to be something different. they would make a big news. That would be a huge story. And Mitchkov can't even speak English yet, man. He's not gonna make a big deal.
You don't have to be good.
He's got to be able to talk to somebody, man, without an interpreter.
No, I think the Flyers are going to be a lot better.
I don't know, Joe. I haven't seen enough yet, but we'll have to wait and see. The season is not definitely going to start out good for them, though. They got a hell of a test to start.
Florida lost their top center out for the year.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I saw that.
The Phillies win the World Series.
And the Phillies win the World Series?
Yes. And your MVP.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm going to let you get this last point out that I'm kicking you out of here for that comment. Who's the MVP?
Who do you think I'm going to get? I'm going to go with a pitcher.
Is Chris Sanchez?
No.
Aaron Nola?
No. Luzardo.
I hope that's the truth, Joe. Joe Hale. Listen, Joe, we'll talk tomorrow. Some bold takes from Joe Hale tonight, boy. Flyers are going to be better. The Phillies are going to win the World Series, and Jesus Luzardo is going to be your MVP. All right, Joe. On that note, good night. Well, that's some bold takes right there, Joe Hale. Well, we're going to pivot to the Phillies in a second. 96-66, 162 up, 162 down. Now we wait for the winner of the Reds and Dodgers. For some odd reason, I thought it was the winner of the 4-5. I thought that the 2 played the 4-5, but I was wrong. It's not. It's 3-6. I got to write that down because every year I get confused. I'm like, wait, who are they playing? But we will wait the winner of the Reds, Dodgers, a wild card, which will begin on Tuesday. I think it all starts Tuesday. Day off for everybody tomorrow and then Tuesday. And the Phillies will host game 1 against either the Reds or Dodgers here in Philadelphia next Saturday. So, Ricky, how are you tonight, man?
I am good.
Ricky, the Phillies season's over. It's time for the playoffs. Who do you want, Reds or Dodgers?
Dodgers.
That's a bold take, Ricky Deal. You want the Dodgers. See, Ricky, that's why I like you, man. You don't shy away from because listen, Ricky, I agree with you. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the Dodgers are the defending world champions. And you're right. Don't shy away from them. Let's get the Dodgers. I agree, Ricky. I think a better matchup, though, for the Phillies is the Reds. But
Eagles.
Yeah, Ricky, I don't know if you heard, I went off on almost an hour rant on why I don't think this is sustainable. That, yes, 4-0 is a very good start, and they deserve – defense played its ass off today. Defense was playing its ass off all season. They're getting contributions from special teams players. They're setting the world on fire. But this offense, Ricky, the offense is not right. And I don't know if it can be sustained over the course of the next, 14 games, whatever it is. But 4-0 is 4-0, Ricky, and I got to give him credit for that. So, Ricky, thank you for tuning in. Ricky, the show's running along. I got another segment to do. I'm going to let you go, but please come back tomorrow. Ricky Deal, always a pleasure. Ricky's telling me he wants the Dodgers. It's an interesting take. I want the Dodgers too. Yes, I do. Who's doing the Fighting's finals meeting? So, Joe, we have not figured that out yet. We have so I will not be available this weekend. So it's going to be down to a pool of 3 people that can do it. And we do tandems for the playoffs. So you'll be seeing 2 people hosting the Fighting's final from this point all the way out to the end of the season. I have not determined who that will be for game 1 and game 2. I'll return probably for game 3. But I got to go down to Alabama on Wednesday, and I'm there till Sunday. Then I'm going to swing through Ohio and see my kids for a few days and then come home after that. So I'm taking like a kind of a break, like a little bit of a week off. Not a week off, but just some time. So I'll miss the beginning of the NLDS. So it's either going to be a combination of Pat and Mike, Mike and Pat, Mike and Al, Al and Mike, Pat and Mike. It would be a combination of those 3 guys. You'll be seeing a lot of them. for games 1 and game 2. We'll have the schedule officially released a little bit later on in the week. And I'll make sure that you know exactly who's doing what. But right now we're sort of in the discussion phase of it. So I'll let you know. But I'll definitely let you know. So no final. No. Well, the final word tomorrow. The final word Tuesday. No final word on Wednesday, but yes, final word on Thursday. I'll do it from the hotel room in Binghamton or Birmingham, Alabama. I'm going down to Birmingham. So I'll do it from the hotel room on Thursday. So yes, we'll miss one show. Wednesday, there will be no final word on Wednesday. But that's how it's going to roll. All right. Phillies, again, real quick. We are coming up on an hour. The long await is over. We can now breathe, I guess. Some people were out there wondering if they were going to make the playoffs. I didn't think that was in doubt. I honestly did not. I thought the Phillies were making the playoffs, but now it's official. Well, it's been official, but it's official. It's officially official right now because the regular season has come to an end, and the Phillies finished 30 games above 500, 96 and 66, 47 and 34 through the first 81 games, and 49 and 32 through the second 81 games. So they were 2 games better in the second half than they were in the first half. Take that for what it's worth. 35 series wins for the Phillies this year. Far exceeds what they did in 2024 with only winning 24 series. 35 series wins. They swept 8 of those series, which is down 2 from 2024. They swept 10 series last year. Now they've only done 8. But all in all, you got to look at this season as as a frustrating, crazy emotional roller coaster that we all went on for 6 months. And now, just when you think you can breathe, it's going to get even worse as we get ready for the playoffs. Tonight and throughout the course of this week, I'm going to take, and I thought about doing this all at once, but I think it's too much. But I'm going to take the 3 areas of baseball: pitching, hitting, and defense. Those are the 3 areas that win you championships, right? And we're going to break down some stats from the Phillies from the season. And we're going to discuss those stats and how they may apply as the Phillies make their run through the postseason, because it's all about this. It's all about getting to this point. And there's some numbers here that we're going to talk about that are alarming. There's some numbers here that we're going to talk about that are encouraging. And there's some numbers in here that we're going to talk about that are straight up scary. And we're going to take it a little bit at a time throughout the week so I don't overload you with all this data, because I'm all about data. Tonight, I'm going to start with probably the more pedestrian side of baseball, the one that gets overlooked the most, and that's defense. Not many times do you go back and say, you know what? That team won the World Series because they could play one hell of the field. Doesn't really get spoken to, but it does have a tendency to rear its ugly head at the most inoperable times, especially in the playoffs. So we're going to look at some defensive numbers for the Phillies in 2025. And what's the number one defensive area that I'm going to take a look at? Yeah, it's errors, man. Errors committed by the Philadelphia Phillies and their opponents in 2025. Now, as a little disclaimer, as we go over the error numbers, Major League Baseball has gone completely off the bend when it comes to scoring errors. I don't know what millennial, Gen Z, 20-some-year-old kid is up there in the booth marking down errors, but boy, someone needs to slap him or her, because they are extremely forgiving when it comes to some of these plays. I've seen very egregious errors be scored hits. And, and I go back to the Johan Rojas. I don't know if you guys remember this one early on in the season where Rojas essentially dropped the ball in center field, a routine fly ball, and he just dropped it. That was ruled a hit, and it stayed a hit. It never got changed. So that's the thing I'm talking about. So errors are a little bit of a skewed number, even though they're a very important number. So the Phillies committed a grand total of 63 errors in 2025, scored 63 errors. There's probably another 30 errors that weren't scored errors, but 63 that went down as errors. Their opponents are committed 72 errors. So the Phillies, on average, were committing 0.3 errors per game, So that's a hell of a number, and that's very, very encouraging. Their opponents were closer to about a half an error a game. In the first half of the season, the Phillies committed 30 errors, their opponents 30. In the second half, the Phillies committed 33 errors, and their opponents committed 42. So definitely a more of a skewed number there in the second half for whatever reason. I don't know why the defenses were kicking the ball around the outfield more and the infield more in the second half than they were in the first half. But the Phillies stayed pretty consistent. And I think that we've kind of turned a corner with our defense. Now, is our defense the best? No. Is it the worst? Yeah. Is it middle of the road? Yeah. Is it enough to win a World Series? Absolutely. Now, there are a few areas of the defense that still do concern me, and Trey Turner is the top of that list. I said that when the Phillies do have some issues defensively, they always come at those inopportune times, late in games, and typically by Trey Turner. And I know he returned to the lineup today for his team leading, his team leading 96th time leading off for the Phillies in 2025, returning from his stint on the IL. But he is definitely leading the way, and he's like suspect number one that you got to keep an eye on when it comes to defense in the playoffs and committing errors at the worst possible moments. A close second is the golden boy himself, Bryce Harper. Now, as long as there's no rundown situations occurring, Bryce has proven to be a pretty reliable first baseman with the glove. But the minute there's a rundown, all bets are off. And you pray to God Bryce Harper does the right thing or does nothing at all. Maybe that's what I'm hoping he does. Don't do anything at all. 2 times this season he has flubbed the rundown. Defensively, though, for the most part, this team has been a pleasant surprise. And yes, to include Stonehands himself, Alec Bohm, who has had his moments, but largely those moments have been pretty small. Not as egregious as it was a couple years ago, not as headline-making as it was a couple years ago. And that's positive. Working on it, getting better, more repetitions, all that. Factor in the steady hand of Armando Sosa, and I think the above-average glove of Otto Kemp. I think the Phillies are going into the playoffs with a pretty stout defensive team in the field. And I don't think defense is going to really fit into this one way or the other. I think the Phillies will make the errors, and I think they'll also not make the errors. I think it'll balance itself out. I don't really envision a game coming down to a Alec Bohm error or a Trey Turner error late in the game. I don't see that happening. So I think in the large part, the Phillies' defensive performance in 2025 was a positive one and better than many seasons that have preceded it. And that's very good. That means work is being put in and, stuff is being figured out. So there you have it. There's the defensive side. We're not going to go, again, I want to take this in chunks. Tomorrow, maybe we'll talk pitching. I don't know. What do I do first, pitching or offense? But we'll get into those things as we move through the week. But there's my defensive take on your Philadelphia Phillies through this season. And again, kind of going over some of the numbers with you. 96 and 66. They were 47 and 34 in the first half, 49 and 32 in the second half. 17 and 8 they were for the month of September, their second best month of the season, followed by the 19 and 9 May that they had. After that, it was pretty largely around 500 in that area, or slightly above or slightly below. They were 17 and 13 for the months of March and April, 44 and 34 through May, June, and July, and 35 and 19 through August and September. That was definitely the difference this season, was the way they finished it. I mean, they had an amazing August and September. 35 and 19, that's no joke. And that is obviously the reason why they pushed themselves ahead of the Mets, who pushed themselves completely out of the playoffs. So, and then the leadoff tracker, remember I was keeping this. I said I'd keep it from the beginning because I wanted to see if they were serious about moving Schwarber out of that hole. So Trey Turner led off 96 times for the Phillies in 2025, which, again, today was his 96th time. Kyle Schwarber only led off 10 times this year. 10 times. And that was early on when they were still sort of hemming and hawing about whether or not they were going to move him out of that position. Remember, it was like every other game he was leading off or something like that. Then they gave way to Bryson Stott's leadoff career, which he led off 37 times. Bryce Harper with the one leadoff appearance earlier last week, and then Harrison Bader at 17. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different players led off for the Phillies in 2025. And Turner with 96. So, that's good. The Phillies figured it out, man. They decided on a leadoff guy. I put this up on our social media a couple hours ago. Mike Laro was your Fighting's final host champion of 2025. He finished with a 25-11 record for a 69.4 winning percentage. Steve Fuentes comes in in second place with a 11-7 record and a 61.1% winning percentage. I come in at third place at 35-24 with a 59.3 winning percentage. Al comes in at 12-9 with a 57.1 winning percentage, and bringing up the rear is Pat Bernard at 13-12 with a 52 point winning percentage. Yes, I know it's a little skewed because Steve only did 18 games, and I did like 1,000. I get it, but you know what? We agreed it was winning percentage, and I'm not gonna take it away from him. He deserves it. He had a higher winning percentage than I did. Whatever. But there's your host standings for the 2025 season. Joe says Trey Turner won the batting title. He did. And didn't Schwarber win the home run and RBI for the National League as well? Who is doing live tomorrow? The only show we have on the network tomorrow is this one, Ricky, and it's me, the final word. Again, we're entering that phase of the year now, Ricky, where we got to wait for Phillies baseball. So the only show tomorrow on the network is the final word. It's boring Monday here on the network. So I'm doing the show tomorrow. So there you go. Phillies in the playoffs, 96-66. And I come in third as your host of the Fighting's final. I'm pretty disappointed in that. There was a time this season where I was running away with that thing. I was like close to an 80% winning percentage. Every time I got on, they won. But my luck ran out. Much like I think the Eagles' luck will run out at some point. But all right. It's going to wrap. We're going to take us to our final segment of the night, man. We're over an hour in. So let's go into the card review. All right, this is MattyB's card reviews. Time of the show where we take some time, clear out the vape smoke, and talk about some baseball cards or sports cards in general. We're doing baseball cards. We're stuck on the 2025 series where we've been doing a lot of those 2025s the last couple of weeks. We're going to stay on 25 tonight because I want to pay homage to my wife, who surprised me last night. By the way, I'm dealing with a cold. I umped 2 games yesterday. And I think one of them kids gave me something. So I've been dealing with the cold since last night. I hate these transitional season colds, man. They suck. So I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold settling in. So probably the worst is yet to come for me. So please forgive me. I'm a little worn down. But tonight we're going to do, again, 2025 is where we've been. And we're going to stay in the 2025 realm with, see you tomorrow night, Ricky. Tops 2025. We're there. For a player that was coveted by this team. I mean, fans of the Phillies, fans of the city of Philadelphia, straight out coveted this player's services for the last 2 years. This is considered his rookie card, but it's not, right? Because there is a 2024 rookie card of him out there, but this is his Topps 2025 rookie cup card. Again, we've discussed what the difference is. If you have a Topps card with a player that has a rookie cup on it, and I'll show you if you don't remember what it is. I'll show you what it looks like. Then that's typically not their rookie card. That is their widely believed to be rookie card. But if the true rookie cards have the rookie shield on it, And again, we talked about differences between those two, but this is his rookie cup card from the 2025 Topps Series 2. But before I tell you that, I got sidetracked. But my wife surprised me yesterday. She went out and purchased me the entire Series 1, Series 2 Topps collection from a store last night and brought them here to me. That sent me into a 3-hour process of cataloging and separating them. But I want to thank her for that. That was an unexpected surprise to give me those cards. And we have a few decent ones in there. No parallels, no refractors, no inserts. This is just a straight bare bones Series 1, Series 2. But some decent cards, obviously. And a matter of fact, I had this card before, but I ended up getting it again last night. But so we're going to talk about a player that was coveted by this city and its fans, and a player that still might actually impact this city this year, because he is now part of a team that is currently in the playoffs, but he wasn't. He was acquired from a non-playoff contender to a playoff contender earlier this summer in a deal that sent the number 3 prospect in all of baseball to the other team. And I'm talking, if you haven't guessed it already, the fireballer for the San Diego Padres, Mason Miller. And here is his 2025 Series 2 Rookie Cup card. Again, the Rookie Cup is that thing that looks like a trophy there. And that is not a rookie card. It's the distributed rookie card, but it's not the rookie card. The rookie shields are the rookie cards. The rookie cups are kind of like considered sort of like your rookie card. It's the card that has all your full rookie year's worth of stuff on it. Mason Miller does have a 2024 baseball card with partial, I think it was from the update series came out, or series 2, maybe. It was added in as he was sort of mowing down the competition last year. He got thrown in there. So he does have a rookie card in the 2024 set. But because it was not based on his full rookie season, that's why he gets the Rookie Cup this year, because this card from 2025 is considered with his full rookie season behind him. So I don't know if that made any sense. But here's the 2025 Series 2 Mason Miller. Again, still donning his athletic uniform. He is not a member of the A's anymore. He is a Padre. And you will be seeing him potentially in the second round of the playoffs. Well, actually, no, we would have to wait to the NLCS to see him. But there's a potential that we run into him again. And, of course, this was the player that we all wanted for 2 years now. His name was thrown around the trade deadline. The Phillies wanted to send trade for him, but they did not. Got Yohan Duran instead. But Mason Miller is definitely the real deal, and he's continues to be so, and he is a formidable foe in a bullpen. And here's his 2025 Topps Series 2 Rookie Cup card. Again, the very basic. I'm not a fan of what Topps did in 2025 with the layout of their cards. I think it's really, I don't know. I think it's kind of boring. The picture is compressed onto the card. There's a lot of border space. I don't like the little line thing that goes up and to the side there. I'm just not a big fan of the layout of this. I think the graphics and the backgrounds kind of envelop the picture and take away from the picture. But this card currently on a few different databases, anywhere between $5 and $15. You could probably get this card. This is one of those cards that fall into a category of protect it and put it away and just sit on it, because Mason Miller is obviously very early into his career. He could go in many different ways. He could end up being one of the greatest closers of all time. He could end up being a flash in the pan, whatever. But you definitely want to keep his stuff right now, put it away, and just kind of see how things sort of transpire with him. And but he is definitely one of those faces of the new baseball era, the new players of baseball. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for his stuff. And again, put it off to the side and just let it sit and kind of collect dust. But there you have it. Mason Miller's 2025 Series 2 Topps Rookie Cup card. And that is your card of the night in your card review segments. And here it is in its physical form right there. I have 2 of these in my collection right now. This one and another one. Same card, exact same card. This is card number 571 from Series 2. So there you go. Mason Miller. And there's your card review segment of the night. When does the playoff roster come out? I don't think for the Phillies, does it have to come out when everyone else has come out? Because everyone tomorrow at some point they have to release theirs, but I don't know if the Phillies have to do it until later on. I don't know. I got to look that up, Joe. It's a great question. Not sure. Here's hoping Otto Kemp is on there. But that's going to take us to the end of another great show. Eagles winning. Luckily, 31-25 down in Tampa. It's not the offensive coordinator, folks. It isn't. If you sit down and look at this thing holistically, it ain't the coordinator. It's the personnel. It's the offensive coordinator. It's the head coach. It's the whole crew that is the reason why this team is not performing well offensively. And most importantly, it's the lack of Saquon Barkley. That is the missing ingredient to this Eagle offense, because without Saquon Barkley's season that he had last year, this is the 2023 offense. Tell me how I'm wrong. It is. Is it sustainable? Can the Eagles win over the course of the next 13 weeks with this offense? Can they find new and inventive ways to win every week? How much longer can Quinyon Mitchell get away from holding as belligerently as he does? And boy, was it caught a lot of times today, but not flagged. And how much longer can the defense as a whole hang in there? Today, definitely gassed. Definitely showing the effects of being on that field a long time. But at the end of the day, they got Tampa Bay Buccaneers to commit turnovers. Turnovers kill in the NFL. You can't do them, and you can't do them against the Eagles. And until the opponents that the Eagles are playing learn that, the Eagles will continue to win these fluky games. Can't turn the football over. You just can't do it. I don't know how much more I can say, but you can't turn the ball over. But the Eagles found a way to win. But can they continue to find a way to win without addressing the offensive personnel issues on this football team? Either through letting Jalen Hurts throw the ball deep and accepting the faults that come with that, or making trades to get better people here in order to actually execute the offense they want to run, because it's not working right now. And it ain't the coordinator. It's not. It's the coordinator. It's the head coach. It's the personnel. It's everybody. So Eagles held on and they won. But can they continue? Thank you. Yes, keep the It's a Wrap Sports logo going there, Ricky Deal. I love it. Phillies are in the playoffs for the fourth straight year. Is this the final? Is this it? Is this the magical year? Does the Sasquatch come riding into Philadelphia on a unicorn and finally give us a world championship? Is year 144 the charm? Do we finally get our third one? 143 regular seasons of Phillies baseball now in the books officially. And yes, I've covered every single one of them. But yeah, this is the playoffs begin on Tuesday. The Phillies will wait the winner of the Dodgers-Reds. Who do you want and why? I want the Dodgers because I want to beat the best. I want to beat the best. And honestly, I'm actually more concerned about the Reds starting pitching than I am the Dodgers. I'm more concerned about the Reds starting pitching than I am the Dodgers. So once you get past Ohtani, you got what? Yamamoto, who's meh, and then you got Schnell, who's meh. But the Reds come at you with young arms after young arms after young arms, and Dave Roberts to me is not as good as manager as Francona is. I don't know. The Reds got trap written all over them. Because no one's going to give the Reds. Everyone's going to underestimate the Reds. That's my concern. That the fans are going to underestimate the Reds. The team's going to underestimate them. We're not going to underestimate the Dodgers. We're not. We're going to take the Dodgers for what they are. And I think that's better. So I want the Dodgers. And we'll see how things are. The Mets are out. They did not qualify for the playoffs. The epic collapse completed today as they were shut out by the Marlins 4-0. So in a game where all they had to do was win, they couldn't even score a run. Oh, yeah, another point. Phillies finished the season with not being able to score a runner in scoring position for the last 5 games. I didn't bring that up. I'm going to chew on that for a second. They could not get a runner in scoring position over the last 5 games. Like 0 for 30. It's terrible. But you know, we'll dive deeper into the Phillies. We sort of cut up the defense tonight. Talked about that, and you know, how I think it's not really an issue about how this postseason might go. Tomorrow we'll get into either the pitching or the offense, as we'll continue to sort of fillet the Phillies as we get ready for the playoffs. More card reviewing tomorrow, another day in Philadelphia sports history, and very soon, they will have a we'll get into some Flyers talk here in the next couple of weeks because Flyers are close. They had a sac fly today. Yes, but they had it in extra innings, Joe. Hale does not count towards regular play. All that stuff that occurs with that stupid ghost runner doesn't count towards the stats. So they went down officially for 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. None of that stuff counts in extra innings when they have the ghost runner in play. The pitchers' ERAs don't count. The batters' stuff don't count. None of that counts unless it's with the ghost runner. So anyway, that's that. We'll get more into the Phillies tomorrow. We'll talk, obviously continue to talk about the Eagles tomorrow. Here's our schedule in a snapshot. It's just me tomorrow night. So you have all night long to wait for me to come back because we are waiting on the Phillies. So just me tomorrow night on the final word. But go back and look at all the things that we did over the weekend. Never got into Penn State. Maybe we'll talk Penn State football tomorrow. I don't know if there's much really more to say about what happened on Saturday night and James Franklin. That wasn't said by Mike Lauro very elegantly, by the way, on the Happy Valley Huddle. If you missed that, go back and watch it. And that goes for all the programs here on the network. They're all available on all of our social media platforms and our YouTube. So please check them out. You guys have yourselves a great start of your work week. I will see you guys tomorrow. Sleep well. I hope I don't I got to take some medicine before I get really sick. So you guys have a good night. We'll talk later.